Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm Vanessa and this is Blended Together. Today we're gonna be doing a Q&A. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get to it. I had asked you guys on YouTube, on my Instagram, to throw me a lot of questions, and you guys sure did. A lot of different kinds of questions that I never expected for people to ask. I am wearing my colorectal cancer beanie and my NASA jacket with my NASA shirt. Let me just get comfortable so I can answer all these questions. Should I keep the beanie on or should I take it off? We'll leave it on. Spreading awareness. Okay, it's colder right now here than it is in the Bay Area. So all of your questions, I really enjoyed reading all of your guys' questions. So yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into it, and I'm gonna start talking about myself. So the first couple of questions is, how old am I? I am 27 years old. Am I a Latina? Yes, I am Latina. My favorite food, I'm gonna make that as my favorite food, meal, or snack. So my favorite food, probably chow mein. I love noodles. I love like chow mein noodles and stuff like that. I used to go to this pho spot and they had the best chicken chow mein ever. So that's my favorite food. My favorite snack, it always changes. I love strawberries with Nutella. That's just my snack. I really like strawberries and I really love fruit, a lot of fruit, literally. I'm eating watermelon right now, and I heard that watermelon helps with nausea and stuff. So my favorite color, duh, is pink. I'm basic chick. I love pink. My favorite song always changes all the time. And I love Ariana Grande's song, Point of View. And I really love that song right now, but it always changes. Somebody actually asked, what are my 3 things on my bucket list? Which is crazy because I had made a bucket list right before, or like right around the time I got diagnosed. So I have it written down here. So my top 3, I actually went back to this list because whoever asked this question, I don't want to put, another thing is that I didn't want to put your guys' questions because some of them were emailed to me and they didn't want to ask out in public. So my number 1 thing I think is I really want to take the kids to Disneyland Orlando. Florida has just been calling my name. I don't know why. I really want to go to Florida. We were supposed to go to Florida last year for Halloween Horror Nights, but that was canceled, duh. My second thing is that I wanted to go to the Bahamas. I wanted to travel. I really want to travel, so I want to go somewhere where it's going to be completely different. I also want to go to Japan, but anyways, I want to go all over the world, but I really want to go to the Bahamas. Number 3 is I want to somehow give back or do something nice for someone. So that's something that I really want to do. And next question is, do I cook? Yes, I love to cook. My favorite thing to cook, I think, is my Spanish rice. I honestly think that I have really good Spanish rice. I used to always take it to a work potluck and everybody loved it. So that's probably one of my favorite things because I think I have the best Spanish rice. I'm just saying. The next question is, what made me start YouTube? I started it, I think, around June of 2020, and that's the month that my mom passed, and I decided to start something that way I can do, like, I was planning to just do like family videos of us and the kids traveling. So you can see at the beginning of my YouTube, I was just doing videos about like San Diego Zoo and just us traveling, and then one thing led to another and here I am. My top 3 favorite YouTubers. I love Bailey Sarian. Yeah, I love her because she does Monday's makeup murder mystery, and I love investigations. I love stuff like that. And my second favorite YouTuber right now that I'm following, her name is Romy, and I follow her because she is also battling cancer, and she's also really young as well. So she has some videos where she talks about what, you know, just life to life things, and I want to see how other people are doing as well, who are around my age, because when I go to the Cancer Institute where I go, there's no young people whatsoever. Third favorite YouTube My third YouTuber, so I sometimes watch Bram T. Julia, the Bram fam. I really like them too. Just because they're young as well, and they were young parents just like I was. My dream job, I honestly thought like when I was little that I was gonna be like an actress or something, that I really wanted to be like a movie star. I wanted to act in movies because they look really fun to do. Like you get to do like these trainings and you get to learn how to fight and do sword fighting and whatever the heck the movie's about. Like it just looks so fun just to learn. I feel like when you're filming movies, you get to experience all these things and you get to learn. I don't know. It just seems very fun to me because it takes you to a whole different world, and that would be probably my dream job. Not necessarily that I want to be famous at all. It's the experience of actually filming a movie and the whole thing of like learning how to fight, depending on what you're gonna do to learn to do in that film. I don't know. Do I have any hobbies? Not really. I'm way too busy to have any hobbies. I sometimes go fishing. I go fishing with David. That's David's hobby, and I really enjoyed it. I actually caught a fish one time. I caught a bass, so not really. Just other than filming videos for you guys and talking about my experiences, and that's pretty much what I do. The next question is if I keep a diary. Not really. I do have a journal of like what I keep for like my ideas and stuff, but my diary is this. Literally, I talk to you guys all the time about my experiences, what I'm feeling, my symptoms. I feel like this is like a digital diary. I get this question, the number one question that I always get is, why are my eyes yellow and why am I so jaundiced? I am yellow and I'm jaundiced since before I got diagnosed with cancer. I have a blood disorder called hereditary spherocytosis. This blood disorder, I am planning to make another video on explaining what it is and stuff like that. But it does cause me to get very jaundiced, and it does affect somehow my liver enzymes and stuff like that. But my liver is fine, guys. My liver, that's what I've been checking almost every week, and everything is fine. But that's pretty much why I get jaundiced. And then on top of that, all my chemo treatments, my radiation causes me to get even more yellow. So I'm a real life Simpson, guys. Someone asked, what is my biggest fear? My biggest fear is for something bad to happen to my family. My kids especially. I hope that nothing ever happens to them. That's my biggest fear. I always pray for them, and I pray for my family. And now I'm gonna move on to my diagnosis. My symptoms for colorectal cancer, a lot of bloatedness and gas, but it was very uncomfortable, a little bit painful in a way. And I just figured I just always had a lot of gas. And then I didn't start experiencing any kind of weight loss until a month before I was actually diagnosed with it. And then obviously the number one thing was a lot of bleeding when I would pass any kind of stool or anything, and it came to the point where I felt like going to the bathroom and it was nothing but blood. Yeah, that's how I knew something was wrong. And somebody asked, how long has my tumor been there? Colorectal cancer is known to be a very slow growing cancer. I'm only 27, and when I found out I'm actually stage 3 and in one lymph node. This says it takes about 10 to 15 years for it to actually even be considered stage 3 or 4. So meaning I probably had this between the ages of 10 and 15 years old. But I don't remember having any kind of symptoms or anything. I don't think so. I mean, I don't even know what I did yesterday, so what kind of chemo treatment I am on, and I am on the Xeloda, also known as capecitabine. I'm on that one, and I first started off in a low dose for 650 milligrams, and then I moved up to 1,000 milligrams. And I'm also doing radiation, so I did chemo pills morning and night, and also radiation every single day except for weekends, obviously, and that was my cancer treatment. The next question is the hardest part about being sick. I would definitely say the nausea. The nausea sometimes really got me to the point I could not get out of bed. Was shaky. I was feeling a little bit more tired, but I honestly think the nausea is what got me the most, and I couldn't really eat much. I didn't want to eat. There's only certain things I wanted and craved. Sometimes when I had the kids, I do share a 50-50 custody with their dad. So on the days that I did have them, it was sometimes really hard because my toddler sometimes needed a lot of attention. So sometimes I had to get the older ones to help. Then the next question is, have they done any scans or blood work to see if the treatment is working? And if not, what is gonna happen? No, I have not had done any scans or anything because the treatment is about 8 weeks. And then after the 8 weeks is over, I have to recover for at least 2 to 3 months after my treatment ends, because the chemo and radiation tends to keep working in your body for that prolonged amount of time. So then after about 2 to 3 months, then I go ahead and do, obviously, colonoscopy again. I go ahead and do the ultrasound, I do CT scans, and I do everything all over again to see if it actually worked. And if it did, oh my gosh, I really hope that it does work, because then that means I won't need surgery, and I probably won't even need chemo after. But if it doesn't and it shrunk it small enough to remove it, then they'll go ahead and remove that part. I'll have a stoma, and then after the recovery, I'll keep the stoma. After that, then I'll have my 6-month IV chemo treatment, and I'll probably have a port for that, which is something that they put under your skin to give you any infusions or anything that you need. The next question is my cancer genetic? No, it is not, because I actually saw a genetics counselor, genetics doctor, and I did a colorectal kit, and so they did a really large amount of genes in my body, and it reacted negative to everything. It's a good thing because that means that my children will not have it, and I actually came back negative for Lynch syndrome as well. The next question is, do other family members have it? My uncle did have colorectal cancer when he was, I believe, 40, and my mom had esophageal cancer. My niece had neuroblastoma cancer, which is a cancer, she had hers in her lower, kind of like mid spine. Cancer does run high in my family, but still no genetics have came back that it runs in the family, which is kind of, you know. The next question is, being stage 3, is treatment more aggressive? It depends. If you're early stage, most of the time they just go in there and remove the tumor, and you don't even need chemo, radiation, or anything. But anything above stage 2 through 4, it's pretty much the same for everybody. The treatment doesn't change. The treatment is you take chemotherapy and radiation at the same time. You recover, you do surgery, and then after that you do the 6 month of FOLFOX chemotherapy. So it's pretty much the same any kind of stage that you are in, unless they're able to remove it. The next question is, what is your prognosis? My prognosis is pretty good. It's 80 to 90% chance of survival, which is really high. Before cancer, did I have any kind of special diet? No, I did not have. I mean, obviously I did try eating healthy. I didn't, eat out every single day at all. And growing up, my mom, she did not even like meat. We barely even ate chicken. She was a very vegan person, actually, and everybody would laugh at her and say that she ate like a bird. She didn't like meat, and she felt bad for the animals, to be honest. And this one's a really tough one, and I debated whether or not to even add this question into it, but I think it's important because you guys asked some really good questions. And this one is, if anything were to happen to me, do I have any plans of what I want done? No, I don't. I don't have any plans. I really don't, and I don't want to think that way. At this stage that I'm in right now, in the position that I am right now, I think I'm okay with not making those plans, if that makes sense. I don't have any plans for that. Sorry. All right, and then the next one is, what does David do for a living? So David is a clinical lab scientist. He does work in a laboratory. He basically does, once somebody draws your blood, they send it to the lab, and runs it and results it is David. So David is the one that results your blood work. How did we meet? In a laboratory. Yeah, we met in a laboratory, and that's how I met him. It was we worked at the same place. The next question is, what are some challenges of a blended family? Some challenges from a blended family is just connecting with each other's kids. Ariana was definitely the toughest. You try to make it work with the other parent, even though you guys are not married or a couple anymore. So sometimes that could be a little tough. Like, let's say sometimes on my days, I needed help whether to either take him to school or pick him up from school. So that was a little difficult. It was just kind of like hard to work out at the beginning, but now we have a pretty good schedule and we do have a 50-50 custody. And that's pretty much it. It was kind of figuring it out and kind of keep ourselves in a schedule. My next question is, how did I tell my family? There's some family members that I actually told in person, and for me to think about that I was gonna do that 10 other times. Like, it was going to be so difficult for me. It was already very difficult for me the first time to tell one of my family members. And I just couldn't come to do it over and over again and ruining everybody's day. And the way I did it was not normal in any sense at all. What I did was I recorded the video of me saying that I have colorectal cancer, and it's one of my most popular videos. I just sent it to my family and I said, I'm sorry, this is the way I have to tell everybody. For me to just go to everybody's house was too hard for me. I couldn't do it. In all honesty, I just couldn't go to everybody's house and tell them that I had cancer. So that's how I told my family. How did I explain it to my children? So I actually had to hold it in for an entire month. That was terrible. So my kids started noticing because they kept asking, like, Mom, why are you going to a lot of appointments? Why are you going to the doctor? They started asking questions. One night, I finally just sat them down. David told Kara, and she was a little bit older to understand what was going on, and she knew questions to ask, but he was the one that told her. For when I sat down with my son and my daughter, Ariana, who's 3, and my son AJ, who's 8, I went to the room and I said, I have something that I have to tell you guys, and it's very important. And at first, I think he thought that I was gonna say that I was pregnant. This was the toughest thing that I had to do. I just told him Mommy has an owie, and that's when he kind of like, his face was very like, what kind of owie, what's going on? And I just told him Mommy has cancer. Immediately my son burst into tears and immediately asked me, is what happened to Grandma Lulu, which was my mom, what happened to Grandma Lulu, is that gonna happen to you too? Are you gonna die? That's what he asked me. So I had to keep my composure from breaking down in front of him and telling him, no, that's not always gonna happen. Yes, Mommy is sick. Yes, Mommy has to take some medicine. It's gonna make her sick, but Mommy is gonna be okay. I'm gonna fight, and Mommy is gonna be sick. And he was not having it. He was crying. Because he already seen what my mom went through. And I think that was really tough on him. So yeah, that was definitely the hardest for me, was to tell my children. And another question is, how did David react to my diagnosis? I feel like he was in denial of everything at first, but then he's kind of like, something is wrong. But he didn't want it to be that. But he's a scientist, guys. He researched everything. He researched my prognosis already. He knew more stuff than I even knew. So he was the one informing me, because I was just in bed crying. And so he was a little bit more confident than I was in all of this at the beginning, because he did all the research for me. He researched everything, and basically we knew what was gonna happen before they even told us what was gonna happen. And then also someone asked if cancer has changed our marriage. Yes, it absolutely did, for the better. I think it's brought us closer together. We enjoy our time together a lot more. It's definitely changed us to be closer and love each other more, definitely, after this, and appreciate each other a lot more than we did. So yes, it did change our marriage tremendously, but for the better. Another question, was, how did my ex-husband react to my diagnosis? For him, I just remember I called him right after I found out. He kind of was already in the loop of everything of what was going on, because there were some times where I had to be in the hospital for procedures, so obviously he had to know what was going on. He was very quiet. I just told him, like, I have cancer. He asked the same questions, was, what is your prognosis? What are they gonna do? When is your treatment starting? I'm pretty sure he took it really hard. So I'm gonna move on to some self-care. How am I doing mentally? Some days I am not in a good mood. Sometimes I'm sad, obviously, but I'm just mostly sometimes upset. Like, why do I have to go through this? This sucks. This really sucks. But mentally, I'm doing okay. Question is, am I considering seeing a therapist or psychologist? Not really, but if it comes to a point where I do need to see a therapist or a psychologist, I definitely would. Not yet. I don't think I'm at that point at all. No, I don't consider seeing one, but if I do need to, I will. The next question is, do I have a P.O. box? No, I don't have a P.O. box, but if you guys want me to or think I should get a P.O. box, leave a comment down below and just let me know, yeah, get a P.O. box. I've gotten asked a couple of times if I have a P.O. box or something that they could send something to, and no, but I am planning to. And the next question is, what are some self-care things I do or coping mechanisms to help with anxiety and negative thoughts? Showers, baths, resting. I really love baths, and I think that helped me relax a lot. And coping mechanisms to help with my anxiety and negative thoughts. Some days are tough. Some days you tend to stay up and think about things that can happen, and I just tell myself that don't even go there. Don't let myself lay in my sorrows. I just tell myself, like, everything is okay. Nothing is happening right now at this moment. You know, it's just a feeling that it's normal. It's normal. Just, you gotta tell yourself that it's normal the way you feel. Don't think that the way you feel is wrong at all, because it's not. Feeling anxious, stressed out, or anything like that are normal for somebody to go through. So I just kept telling myself, like, it's okay. Even though I feel like this, I feel awful, I'm gonna just hopefully get through this, go home, and then it's gonna be okay. Everything you're going through is gonna cause some kind of anxiety, some kind of stress, and it's okay to feel like that. Start praying and saying, I need your strength. I need, you need to, praying really help. It's okay to cry. It's okay to cry. You don't want to talk to anybody, and that's why I see where I get that question, if I want to talk to a psychiatrist. And it's definitely something that I would consider if I just don't want to talk to somebody I know, because I don't want to put that pressure on that person and make them worry about me, when I rather do it with a psychologist or something like that. And that's definitely something to consider. I don't give myself a choice to think that, because I have my kids to fight for. I have my husband to fight for, my family, not only for myself, but for all of them. They're the number one thing why it gives me a drive and positivity to get over this. My kids are everything, and if I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for them. So the next question is things that I do to pamper myself. Baths. David got me for Christmas a bunch of bath stuff and candles, non-scented candles, which I loved because I didn't want any kind of scent. So men out there, if there's any men watching this, please get your wife like a spa thing. Next thing is, what does my husband do to cheer me up? Since we moved into the house, he has basically done everything. He has done everything from trying to organize the garage, washing clothes, does it all. He does it all. He cuddles me. That's what he does. To cheer me up, he cuddles me. Lots of cuddles. That's my favorite part. What are my makeup must-haves? Definitely, oh, David's here. Definitely Laura Mercier. I really love this powder. Babe, are you home?
No, I'm not home, babe. Really cute.
And the next thing for makeup must-haves is definitely a beauty blender or a sponge. I use this all the time. I don't really use brushes for my foundation ever since I used this sponge. Definitely a brow pencil, a goof-proof brow pencil from Benefit, and it comes with 2 of them. This is the filler, and I have another one that actually is a little bit smaller. It's more defined. And the next one is obviously an eyeliner, and this one is Tattoo Liner from Kat Von D. And I've used many liners, and I like anything that is waterproof. What are my beauty essentials? For my cleansing process, I really like the St. Ives. It's a green tea and bamboo scrub. So I really like this one because it is paraben free, dermatologist tested, and oil free. It clears blackheads and unclogs pores, so I really like this one. And I use this one along with either my little sponge that I got at Target, and it has like these little bristles right here. See? And then I got this one where it's like a, so I use this one, and I got this little brush, I think like at a pharmacy or something, so, and I just replaced the brush heads. And then the next thing is the Aveeno Clear Complexion Daily Moisturizer. So I use this one for moisturizing my face as well. And for my body, I use lotions all the time. Anytime I take a shower, I use lotions. Right now, I've been using the Aveeno Baby because it doesn't really have a scent or anything. So lately, I've been using this. Those are my beauty essentials. And the last question is, how do I stay so positive? I get that question a lot from a lot of my videos. For me to stay positive is there is no other option. There is no other way for me to feel. In order for me to get better, I think that's the best way, is for me to stay positive even though I'm going through everything that sucks. Yeah, it does suck, but you gotta do this in order for you to get better. I'm doing this for my family, not only for myself, but for my family. And my family really needs me, and I feel like they are my biggest thing to keep fighting and stay positive. And I want to show them that, how I said, no matter what gets thrown at you, you have to make the best out of it. And even though it's really hard sometimes, always just try to keep your head up and stay very positive. And I think feeling positive and keeping that positivity will improve your outcome. And that's what I'm really hoping for. And those were all the questions. I hope I answered everybody's questions that were asked. I really appreciated for you taking the time to emailing me or posting them on my YouTube and asking these questions. Some of them I know were probably really tough to ask, but I really appreciate that you guys did. That's it. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to live well, laugh often, and love much. Thanks guys. See you later.